Law enforcement has changed quite a bit over the years. Plenty of that change has been for the better. After all, who can argue with increased effective communication with the public? But in the pursuit of a better profession, some law enforcement leaders have made poor decisions about what changes to introduce. This week, I'm going to talk about one of those changes that some leaders have often poorly implemented: sanctity of life policies. I'm Steve Serbalik, and I'm a panel attorney with As Cops in Arizona. If you're lucky, this is the first time you've heard of a sanctity of life policy. To explain what that even means, in the wake of the 2019 and 2020 anti-police movements, some departments wanted to get ahead of public perception, as many activists painted police as heartless and uncaring. Department leaders attempted to counter that narrative by adding sanctity of life statements to their agency's policies. Something that might say, officers will always prioritize saving human life, only using the amount of force absolutely necessary to stop a threat. These statements are empty words used to try to quell anti-police activists. Something, by the way, that will never work and isn't worth the effort. Remember, these are often the same people that want to defund or even abolish the police. But back to sanctity of life statements. Consider the actual repercussions of such innocent statements. Use of force case law is already well established. I've done plenty of videos on the subject. If an officer already has to use objectively reasonable force, which is a good thing, adding the stipulation of absolutely necessary adds restrictions on the officer that could result in harm to innocent people or officers. So let's make up an example. If a suspect is brandishing a knife and is refusing commands by officers, but hasn't outright attacked anyone yet, officers might maintain distance and try to verbally de-escalate the situation. But if the suspect disregards commands and begins to move to a crowded place, like a store or park or school, officers have a new interest in using force to stop that person from closing distance with that crowd. The lowest level of force absolutely necessary might be a taser or 40 millimeter. After all, we don't know that the suspect is going to stab anyone until they do. But isn't it reasonable to think that they plan on doing that? That suspect has already refused commands by uniformed officers and approached civilians while brandishing a knife. Those less lethal measures may be too little too late, and officers need to stop that subject fast. You see, officers don't need to wait for bad guys to hurt innocent people, and they certainly don't need to wait until someone is shooting at them. Reasonableness is the measure required by the Constitution, and it should be. Adding words to policies to please political radicals who will always be anti-police only puts law-abiding citizens and the men and women in uniform in danger. So I encourage law enforcement leaders to resist political pressure to add unnecessary language to their policies. It makes the job of officers more difficult, encourages baseless lawsuits, and could result in officers hesitating to take reasonable actions to protect themselves or others. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to like, follow, and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel grow. Be on the lookout for new videos. They come out every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time. I'm Steve Serbalik. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.